you, Tony. Dr. Katniss is a real pleasure to work for, and we had a lot of great experiences and a lot of successes together. First, I would like to thank my family for being here, all my friends. I've seen so many friends this evening, and I would like to thank everyone in attendance this evening to support Scouting. I realize that this is a great honor, and I'd like to thank the leadership team of the Golden Eagle Dinner for nominating me for this honor. I think I thought about it a lot as to what I should say in my acceptance, and I thought about some of my friends that I had met in Scouting. And of course, I have limited time this evening, but I would like to talk about 4 of them that had an impact on my life at several different eras in which I was associated with the Boy Scouts. In the first one, I was a Scout, Troop 323, sponsored by First United Methodist Church. And there was a gentleman, George Robertson, who had an impact on my life. I saw him as something that was caring, welcoming, supportive, allowed us to be who we are. And I was also joined in that troop by Charlie Robertson, his son. And so I called Charlie up and said, come on over to Melbourne. We have this Golden Eagle Award ceremony. I think you'll enjoy it. So Charlie, thanks for joining us this evening. The second association had to do with being an assistant scoutmaster. And this had to do with my son Scott was in this troop. And Ted Johnson is the individual that I'm recognizing. Ted asked me to go with him to Unicoi State Park in Georgia and to assist them in earning their merit badge. And it was a 20-mile hike. And so I went on that hike with the Scouts. And I got through and I said, this is the most fun I think I could imagine having, being on the Appalachian Trail for 20 miles. So I asked them, I said, let's go back tomorrow. And all the Scouts said, we're not going back. You want to go back, you go back. We're going into Helen, Georgia and having a good time. However, subsequently, Ted Johnson, on 2 occasions, took me back to the Appalachian Trail, the same location, and he brought along his son this time, and I started really gaining a love for hiking. So I've hiked thousands of miles now, and 3 of my friends here tonight have hiked together. Bill Potter, obviously, Sam and Frank, we really put in a lot of miles together. And I would like to thank Scouting for introducing me to hiking. So Ted Johnson was a unique individual. As I said, he helped me get back to the Appalachian Trail, and just a caring person. When we went up to hike that trail, he had tickets for us to go to the Atlanta Braves baseball game. And he was more concerned with the Scouts having a good time. In fact, he was so concerned that at one time he told me that your son's going to be with us and you're not to be acting or telling him what to do at any time. And I said, that's easy enough. I won't tell him anything. So we had great fun, hiking together, and for me being with Ted Johnson. The next time, I became the district chair of the Riverside District. And I was asked to be the district chair by a friend of mine, and I said, I'll accept it. So I get a call from Joe Glover. Joe Glover is the owner of Glover Oil Company at that time. And so he said, Bill, you're too busy. You're just too busy to do this. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. Here's the guy that owns the owner of Glover Oil Company. And so he's meeting with me from time to time, and he's taking packets to different troops, at the evening. I thought, this is a marvelous job Joe's doing, helping with the scouting. So one day, I had to be at the NCAA convention, and I asked Joe if he would be there for me in our monthly meeting. So what happened was they were talking. This is after 2 years that I served in this 2-year capacity, and they said we need to nominate someone to file a bill, and someone nominated my name, and I wasn't there. And Joe, I was told this. Joe got up and said, he's not doing it again. Because he was thinking of himself. He didn't want to spend 2 more years taking packets around all these troops. And so Peggy Hall said, that sounded a little strange. I said, well, you don't know Joe. He's a very supportive person. The next person I'd like to mention is George Mall, Dr. George Mall. A lot of you know Dr. Mall. A great person, great human being. He was head of the Department of Oceanography at Florida Tech, and he's the one that asked me to be the chair. And so I formed a great bond with George, and it started off like this, is that he says, we can go to Key 3 training, which is the district executive, the commissioner, which George was, and myself. We can go out to Philmont Training Center in New Mexico, and we can spend a week there. And I thought that'd be a lot of fun, So we went out there and did training, and then all along we had a team. I love teams, and it was called the Key 3, and so we accomplished a lot. We got the award of merit for our troops during that time. That's a very good award for a organization, the Riverside District, and we got that award. So I know it wouldn't have been possible, obviously, without Dr. Mall or without Joe. They were just right there all the time. I love scouting because I don't know if people know enough about how great the leadership is and the level of volunteers. I mean, when you have someone like George Mall, who runs a department in oceanography, and he's working with kids, he's an Eagle Scout himself. There's just tremendous leadership in this organization. And what impresses me most is that what we're doing tonight is what I did for 50 years at Florida Tech, is raise money so we would have a better program. And by raising the money, we actually provide opportunities for young kids who need the hope of being able to go to scouting and go to camping. We're providing all the costs for these young kids to be a scout. And so these are some of the things. We do so many things in scouting. So the quality is outstanding. The last thing I would like to say in this regard is that having worked with the group this year and worked with Bart, Calvin, and Karis, I thought, and the rest of the committee, I said, we're going to be successful. I know we're going to be successful because we've got a great team. There's no individual, in my opinion, that deserves an award, but all these that work so hard and contribute so much to scouting, and just the character of these individuals, you're investing in a great organization with a lot of outstanding people. Thank you.